Loud cracks detonated behind him, and Ryan turned to see a hawk weeping on the glass with its beak, a squirrel on its talons, and a royal collar around its neck. Then a collared crow flew up next to the hawk with its own squirrel, then a fairy, then a hummingbird, then a winged monkey, all unfurling nooks against the glass. Messages from your allies, sir, said the guard closest to the window. They want to know if the blessing will be secure given rumors of a rebel army. Ryan bared his teeth, turning on Kay. Catch that witch now! The magical barrier around the school is stronger than we thought, Kay defended. We have recruited the best sorcerers from other kingdoms, trying to find one who can break through. But suddenly, Hoss wasn't listening anymore. He was staring as Ryan's teamer abandoned it on the seat of the throne, directly under the balcony. This was his chance. As the scream curled around his right ear, Hoss slowly slipped his hand into his left pocket, out of the ear's view. Standing to Hoss' left, Sophie felt his hand brush her hip. She glanced down and saw him draw two hazelnuts out of his pants, gloved in honey. Her eyes flew to Hoss, but he didn't look at her as he leaned across the railing on his right elbow, hung his left hand over the balcony, and smoothly released the clumped nuts. They plunged deep into the mug of tea with the cleanest of splashes. Sophie goggled at Hoss, but the scream on Hoss' ear had curled around, sensing something afoot, and Sophie quickly pretended to fix Hoss' collar. You know what? The king seems busy, she said to her steward with a loaded look. Let's go back to our chamber and let him enjoy his tea. Yes, mistress, Hoss said, stifling a grin. As they started walking, Hoss could see Ryan still transitioning Kay below. You got my brother out of prison, out of the service and trained sack, and now you can't break into a school? The king sifted. You and I are a team. We have been a team since the beginning. But if you are going to be the weak link, especially after I took you back... Kay reddened. Ryan, I'm trying. The king lifted a finger, and Ryan's mane flew out of his pocket and lighted up in front of Kay's brown eye, the pen's razor tip caressing his pupil like a target. Try harder, Captain, said the king, needling the pen even closer. Kay's voice came out straggled. Yes, sir. Gus, Ryan called, summoning Lion's mane back into hand. Bring me Sophie. Spooked, Sophie spat her pace down the hall, but Hoss' ear bounded off him and over the balcony, letting out a piercing shriek. Ryan's eyes flicked to the second floor, where the black screen had blocked the Sophie path, pointing at the princess's head like an arrow. A short while later, Sophie pasted on the throne stage, gazing at her work, glowing hot pink in mid-air. A pirate stood on stage, hand on his sword, his dark helmeted eyes moving warily between Hot and Sophie. Sophie tapped her glowing pink fingertip to her lips, rereading her words. Agatha has been caught. Another traitor of Camelot, brought down by the lion. Do not believe other reports. Not quite right, Sophie murmured. Hot studied her from one side of the stage steps, while Ryan watched her from the other. Hot, Sophie turned to Ryan. Are you sure this is wise? You said Lion's Mane is supposed to rifle the Saurian, to inspire and give hope, not be the king's mouthpiece. I choose the stories. You write them, said Ryan curtly. Plus, the Saurian repulse fast, Sophie argued. So far, Lion's Mane stories have been true, distorted as they are, but this is a lie that can't be found out. When your dear friend Agatha is being tortured in our dungeons, we can finish this conversation, said the king. Sophie stiffened and went back to work. Hot, meanwhile, had fantasies of bashing Ryan's head like a whipped pumpkin. Comparatively, Sophie was handling the situation quite well, he thought. He knew how much she cared about Agatha. Taunting her own friend's demons couldn't be easy. He glanced furtively as the mug of tea on Ryan's throne growing cold. He saw Sophie glance over at his too and missed his eyes for a half-second. That's your name, isn't it? Ryan asked, sidling against Hot. Hot wanted to needlessly laying Squam in these crown jewels, or at least tell him to back the hell up, but he controlled himself. It's Hot, Your Highness, and thank you for generously allowing me to serve in your castle. Said Ryan. Though you won't serve long if you keep smelling like a sewer. Do us all some good and learn to bath. I'm not sure that's something they teach you in a fairy tale school. Hot clenched his teeth. Ryan knew full well why he stank. He just wanted to bully Hot the way he had bullied the Tedros. It's why Ryan was pressed hard against him, so Hot could feel his biceps, bigger than his own. Hot himself had been jacked with muscle until he had left on this quest, but he hadn't lifted weights in weeks and he had started to whittle back down on a whistle frame. It hadn't bothered him much since Nicola lighted the old, scrawny Hot she had read about in books, but it bothered him now.